day 35 of 365 days of meditation. This morning, it wasn't a early morning meditation. It wasn't like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. I think it was closer to about 8:30 when I started meditating. And so I put my headphones in because there starts to be some noise in my apartment building in the neighborhood, usually by about 8, 9 o'clock. So put the headphones in, put some music on, and I set the music so that it ran for about an hour and 10 minutes because I had a time restraint. I couldn't meditate much more beyond about an hour and a half, and then I had to hop into a meeting that I had to attend. So I meditated for I think about an hour and 10 minutes or so, something like that, and then I forgot to disable an alarm that I had set on my phone, and so the alarm went off. And it was interesting because I'm usually pretty good about that, but I forgot about a week ago to set, or maybe 10 days ago, to turn the alarm off as well. I don't remember how long ago. And during that meditation, when the alarm went off, it pulled me out and I was very agitated afterwards. But I managed to sort of recover and relax back into the meditation with quite a bit of intentional, conscious efforting. But today, when I was interrupted, I sort of got jarred out of it and reached over to the phone, turned it off, and then just sort of settled back down into the meditation. And I thought to myself, okay, the alarm's gone off, there's nothing I can do about it. And the fact that the alarm went off is not a big deal. But if I'm going to get angry about this, then the fact that I'm allowing myself to get angry about it is what is potentially going to, ruin the relaxation of the meditation. So I thought to myself, this is actually kind of just funny that this has happened again, and I laughed. I sat there, I was closed my eyes again, and I just sat there as I was having these thoughts and just laughed. And so I thought that was pretty cool, that my response was an improvement even over last time when I was interrupted in a meditation from an alarm. This time I didn't even get emotionally worked up at all. I just kind of acknowledged that I was pulled out and that it wasn't a big deal and that there's no point in getting upset about it. And then I actually laughed. I thought it was kind of funny. I laughed it off and meditated for about another 5 minutes with the music. It ended, and then I continued for about another 10 minutes after that. So it ended up being a great practice in self-regulation. And anyone who's struggled with mental health, anxiety, or depression knows that a huge part of it is, one, knowing that a big part of distressing thoughts can be related to how we're interpreting things in our environment, and a big part of distressing emotions can be related to our thoughts. So in this case, I was able to have something in the environment that I didn't necessarily want occur and not go into a negative thought cycle and then not feeling distressing emotions as a result. And that's really what self-regulation is. And by not attaching any major significance to something that is pretty trivial and an alarm going off in a meditation, I was able to just drop back in effortlessly. And I know in the past when I've been struggling with depression and anxiety, would not have been my response when something interrupted me. Before I started meditating about 3 years ago, that definitely would not have been my response. I probably would have got very upset about fairly trivial things. I would have got upset about the event itself. I would have got upset about the thoughts I was having about the event. And then I would have got upset about the emotions that were resulting from the thoughts I was having about the event. And that would sort of be the death spiral into anxiety and depression for me. And so it was pretty neat to see a pretty stark contrast to what used to be sort of default behavior for me, and now is no longer. I know that it's not going to be perfect, and I probably will have days where I regress, and that's fine as well. For anybody who's actively working to better their mental health, there will be days where there is a regression back to old habitual ways of thinking about things, about the way you might be interpreting your thoughts, about the way you might be interpreting events in your life, and about the way you might even be interpreting your emotions, because we all feel negative emotions from time to time, whether you've struggled with your mental health or not. And for me, a big part of making it worse was labeling those emotional states as bad or negative or unwanted. And in doing so, it would draw my attention to them more, and then they would persist more. And that would be sort of how the spiral from, feeling a little bit maybe unhappy about something could lead to thinking that feeling unhappy was wrong or bad, and then that would lead to focusing more on the fact that I was feeling unhappy, and then I would feel unhappy more, and then it would just sort of spiral and downwards into a depression. Just as an example, that's a pretty simplified example, but yeah, so success today, I would say. And other than that, the meditation was great. It was relaxing. There's always some emotion I'm able to evoke in my practice. I'm really focusing on gratitude these days, and just sort of a love for my life, as that was the whole purpose of going on this 365-day meditative journey, was to cultivate a love for life. And if you're loving your life, you're definitely in a state of gratitude, and if you're feeling grateful, you're probably loving your life. So that's it for today. In closing, if you're struggling with your mental health, talk to somebody, friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, parents, teachers, coaches, mental health professional, if you have access to one. I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times. Talking to somebody was the first step I took towards better understanding what I was doing, what mental health even was, I guess, and what some of the things were that were ailing me in terms of anxiety, depression, obsessive compulsive disorder at the time. And gaining that understanding then was the first step towards being able to learn some changes I could make in my own behavior to better my mental health. And if you asked me 4 years ago what I thought about meditation, I probably would have told you I think it's a bunch of crap, and I'd never done it before, and I probably never thought I would, but yet here I am all this time later, and I'm going to be doing it for another 330 days straight. So things change, and as a result, so is my mental health. It's night and day better compared to where I used to be. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Be good yourself. Have a good night or a good morning.